After her maid got kidnapped for her milker's last episode, we see that Geto left her and went ahead, which he now regrets. It's possible that they will offer to exchange her for Riko, or want them to kill her, or they'll kill her maid. However, as long as the location for the exchange is set, Gojo will make things work out. Now, they want to take her back to Jujutsu High, but Riko refuses, as she hasn't said goodbyes yet. Gojo says that they'll take her with them if it's the only way her maid can survive, but if she gets scared partway, they won't take her back home. The scene changes and Riz God and Flat Bikini are in their swimwear. They had already rescued her, probably because the ones who kidnapped her were pussies and they got wet at the sight of Gojo. The maid is sorry for being kidnapped, but Geto thinks that they caught her off guard. This is the footage of what really happened. Piece of cake. The weird thing is that they weren't attacked while coming here on a plane, but Gojo and Geto made sure no one did. They are currently in Okinawa, to buy time, but the groups can restrict her from making it to Tengen on time, which means that they may take over the airport. However, there is no need to worry, as 2 first years from Jujutsu High have also arrived, who dead-ass love like Gojo and Geto Jr. Poor Geto Jr. thinks that their papas are working their butts off, but they are actually working their butts off. Meanwhile, Gojo and Riko are playing with a cucumber, which releases its milk when Riz God touches it. It was already time to go, and Riko was bummed out because of that, so Gojo tells Geto that they'll go back tomorrow morning, which brightens her up. The duo talk on private, and Gojo says it's fine, as the amount of curse users in Okinawa is less as. That is when Geto reveals that Gojo neither released his technique nor slept since yesterday, and isn't planning on doing so today either. He raises a death flag by saying that it'll be fine, as Geto is here too, and he seems to be convinced. The group does many activities together, like boating, sightseeing and orgy. Sorry, wrong group. After having a wholesome day, at night Riko is focused on the fishes and other creatures, looking at them through the glass without breaking her gaze. The day passes by, and they have finally arrived at Jujutsu High. Gojo wants to make her not feel sad by saying that he doesn't want to babysit a brat again, when suddenly a blade pierces him through his chest, which is your cue to subscribe and like the video, or you may be penetrated. Which was impossible, as they were inside the school's barrier. We see a flashback of when Fushiguro went to see the Gojo clan's child who was born with the 6 eyes, but Kid Gojo saw him looking at him from behind, which had never happened. That is why he wore him down and looked for the perfect opportunity to strike. The duo double-team him to buy time, and Geto takes the girls to Tengen while Gojo takes care of Fushiguro. After getting out of the curse, Fushi had a different blade and a curse on his shoulder. Gojo tries to talk his way out of it by saying that the bounty is over, but Fushi was the one who took it down. The reason why he set a time limit was that Gojo could release his technique when he attacks him, but Fushi easily dodges. It is revealed that he has no curse energy, but a pact that grants him immense physical strength. That's when he starts jumping all over the place, and when he tries to attack, Gojo uses his technique to pushes him several blocks back. However, when he goes to check, Fushi had already started jumping again. To remove the buildings around him, Gojo uses his technique, Blue, which does the job. But much to his concern, a bunch of curse flies surround him, which was the work of Fushi. Now, Gojo can't sense him at all, when he thinks that he's after Riko, but Fushi appears behind him, piercing his infinity and stabbing him in the throat. The rest was a brutal beatdown, killing Gojo with his body worn apart. Apparently, Fushi's weapon had the ability to stop any active technique, that's why he was able to cut through his infinity. Meanwhile, the rest of the group is heading towards Tengen, when it's time for Riko to say goodbye to her maid. After an emotional goodbye, they reach Tengen's territory, where Geto explains to her that she'll need to go down the stairs, down to the base of the tree to get absorbed, or she can go back home to her maid. Back when their teacher was explaining their mission, he didn't want them to let her be absorbed, and he had already talked about it with Gojo, that if she refuses to be absorbed, they won't force her, even if it means fighting Tengen. Riko chooses to go back and be with her loved ones, so Geto gives her his hand, but something hits her in the head and kills her. It was from Fushi, who came here after killing Gojo, which makes Geto lose it, and summon 2 strong curses to kill him. That's it for today. Subscribe if you want more.